Hi guys, this is a review of the game Berserk and the Band of the Hawk for PS4/PC, though all of the footage that you see here was actually taken from the PS4 version. Now, the game was actually published by Koei Tecmo, and we can be kinda happy that we got our Western release kinda early, but though we paid with a price, the game is not dubbed at all, so it is only subbed and all the spoken language is still in Japanese. Now, the developer is actually Omega Force, who are actually famous for the Dynasty Warrior games, which created a little subgenre called Musu games. So they're basically games where you fight big battles between two armies and you control only one character. Let's talk about the Musu gameplay style of Berserk. So you start off story mode with either selecting an event or a mission. While events are basically cutscenes that tell you the story of the game, missions will send you to the battlefield where you have to achieve different mission objectives. Though most mission objectives actually deal with cutting through wave after wave, after wave, after wave of enemies. But to be honest, it's actually way more fun than I actually thought it would be, and I think this is due to the fact that Guts can cut through the most ridiculous amount of enemies with ease and his huge sword. So for now, let's take a little look at the controls. So on square you have your light attack, on triangle you have the hard attack, with X you can dodge enemy attacks, and on O you can release the frenzy mode. So if you look to the bottom left of the screen you will see a purple bar next to 2 to it, and this is the frenzy bar. So once you hit enough enemies this will fill up and you can release frenzy mode. Now in this frenzy mode Guts becomes even more deadly and a second bar becomes available. So this is the death blow bar. So if Guts kills enough enemies you can actually release the death blow move, which is like a giant huge AoE effect spell that kills like most enemies on the first hit. And that's kind of really necessary because you will encounter like the most ridiculous waves after waves of enemies in this game. Furthermore, you can also use sub-weapons and items on R1. So Guts' famous hand cannon is also back in this game. So after you actually finish a mission, Guts will receive gold that can be used for acquiring new items and also upgrading your already existing items. You will also receive experience points, which will give him more powers on the levels Vitality, Attack, Defense and Technique. And furthermore, you can see here this little diagram which will explain a little bit how the combo system in this game works. It's pretty simple, so you basically can press an amount of squares combined with triangles, which will result in different combos and different animations. After that you can also choose from a variety of loot that you can find after the missions. So besides unlocking all the character development, you can also unlock additional content for the gallery, additional costumes for the different characters and a lot more stuff in the game. Now, what would be a Berserk game without fighting huge ass bosses like Sot the Immortal? So from time to time you will fight one of those beasts. So if you actually upgrade your character and your equipment before the fights, you will still have no real trouble actually defeating those beasts on the first try. You know, by saying that I already indicate that the game's difficulty is not too high. So therefore I actually suggest that you play through the game at least on hard difficulty. Okay, now let's look at the content that the game has to offer. So there's basically 3 different modes. There's story mode, has a lot of CGI and cutscenes. Then there is free mode, it's basically the same as story mode, but you can already completed mission now play with every character, even if the story mode wouldn't allow you logic-wise. Kinda useless mode if you ask me. And then finally then there is eclipse mode. So eclipse mode is basically a wave mode where you go from level to reach even deeper levels of the eclipse to slay even more demons. Who would have thought that? Anyway, so there's total 8 different characters that you can play, and like I said, you can unlock more content like new customs and abilities for those in the eclipse mode. Furthermore, there's also an in-game gallery. Normally I would not, I'm not a fan of in-game galleries because I think it's pretty stupid. But for Berserk I kind of really like it because the story is really well written. And eventually you might, look up some information or some artwork for your favorite character. And last but not least, let's talk about the story of Berserk. So, the whole story is told through cutscenes and CGI scenes, mostly taken from the 2012 movie. So, this movie was actually fairly criticized because of its bad CGI when it was released, but I have to say for a game like Berserk, I think the CGI is still fairly decent and does a very good job. Now, I think they did also a fairly good job in taking all the story aspects in general, and including them into the game. So there's not really much that is actually missing. But I think once you played through the game and played through the story mode, as addictive as it might be on the first playthrough because you want to find out more, I think there's almost no replay value to the game. So if you already know all the series and all the movies of Berserk and you read the manga, I guess you might not want to get this game because the gameplay itself is not deep enough and not satisfying enough to justify, buying this game. Like if you ever, want to get girls, now you know how to get girls. You need to learn that leaf trick and all girls will love you.